our friend Ashley, right?
Right, Ashley.
So Ashley, whenever I start these things, I'm always like, tell us your name and what you do. But I feel like because you're a lawyer, I kind of want to swear you in, but I'm not going to.
Got it. Don't put me in the box, please.
So you'll say you are a real estate attorney.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about that. Like, when did your company start?
Sure. So my company started in 2015, or I started my company in 2015, and I opened my law practice with the idea that I would be doing some business development law, estate planning, and real estate. And as I was practicing and getting clients, I realized that there was a need for the way that I was serving real estate clients in the community, and I started to just shift my focus only to real estate. And I'd say about 2018 is when I was able to really focus on just real estate only, and I really liked it because I don't want to say I'm an adrenaline junkie because I'm not one to like jump out of airplanes, but I really like the idea of something kind of opening and closing within like 30, 60 days. You get super tight with your clients within like a very short amount of time. And I'm really communicative, and I like to help ease people's stress. And real estate is, everyone thinks it's like fun and exciting, but it can be really stressful. So I found that I really wanted to just hone in on becoming the best that I can in that area.
What's interesting about what you're saying is that, like, Jimmy, you know this too, because as a loan officer, you know how stressful it is, and everybody is just, it's very high. It's high, there's a lot of anxiety around buying the biggest asset that you'll own.
Right. It's the emotional roller coaster that you go with the highs and lows, and always making sure that what you're purchasing is what it means that much more to you, right? Because it's like, oh my God, this is it. And you're taking these steps. And like I said, like Ashley said, it's important. And when you get in contact with these clients, it's just establishing that trust and fostering those relationships, because that's all they want, because they're nervous, they don't know what's going on. And it's important that we navigate them through this purchase so they can feel at ease with everything.
Mm-hmm. What's interesting about what you were also saying is that, you saw a need and you saw a shift, and you're so, you even know the date, you know the year, you're very intentional. And I know, because we were talking earlier, that you have a very interesting background.
Yeah.
It's not like
it's not a straight path.
It's not a straight path, and you did not come into this saying, I'm going to be a lawyer.
Not this life, no.
No, you have a dance background, you have an art background.
Yeah.
So tell us about that.
Sure. So, from the age of 3, I was put into dance classes and art classes and music classes. And any time I could choose an elective in school, you can choose those, I chose art. And so even I remember a couple years in high school, I had maybe 3 regular classes, and everything else was like a creative art class. And I thought that I was going to go to college for art and for performing arts. And behind that, I also wanted to work. I was kind of raised with the idea, if you want something, you have to pay for it. So I started my first job when I was 13, and I worked at a boat dock in Long Beach Island, New Jersey.
Oh, you're kidding. That's amazing. LBI. What were you doing? Were you just renting out the slips?
Yeah, I was doing the reservations, cashing people out, scheduling people out.
Did you spend your summer down in LBI? Is that how you got?
Yeah, when I got the job, I was allowed to spend my summer there. So
where'd you stay? You were young.
My great uncle had a house, so I stayed
Very
there.
nice. Where in LBI?
Barnegat Lake.
Oh, really nice. Is your family still have a house?
It's in the family, yeah.
That's so nice.
That's cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So then so how old were you?
I was 14 at the time.
Okay.
So I was always working.
Yeah.
And I was kind of conflicted. I was about to go I got accepted to Chicago Art Institute of Design, and I got in early decision. Mm-hmm. And as the months were going on, I got really scared that I would go to art school and that I might come out and struggle, financially.
Yeah.
And
what made you think that?
Someone probably told me, that you'd be a starving artist,
I know. Everybody says that. That's a phrase, right? Starving artist. And, the truth is that art is, we were saying this earlier, but it takes so much discipline. You have to be a disciplined person. Think about every musician that you can, anybody who's successful, it's years and years of practice. It's years and years of the grind. a painter who is renowned, you don't just wake up one day and like, well,
It could
it
happen.
could happen. It could be like a lottery
that's-
ticket.
It is, because it's very interesting, because you know that's your passion, but then you know you need currency.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
And the only way you can get to that top is to have currency to advance your artwork.
Mm-hmm.
But then at some point, what's more important? Is it your passion or is it your wallet? And at times you do have to dominate two at the same time. And then hopefully whichever path you chose will help you do what you do in life, right? So that's like, you're right. It's one of those challenges. I sometimes I come to myself, I'm like, I don't know how professional artists do this. I mean, like, because you know they need to make monies to make ends meet, but you know their passion relies with art.
Right.
And so it's always a struggle. I respect you 1,000,000. Well,
It
that's
was
one of the
tough.
reasons why I was attracted to Ashley, because I saw her art and I saw her lawyer on social media. I was like, I love this person, because she was able to toggle the two at the same time and always say, look, I love what I do when it comes to real estate, but my passion is also art, and let me demonstrate it with different layers. And when I saw that, I felt like this is a good referral partner to work with.
Yeah. Well, what's interesting, what I was getting at is that, you know, you don't think of the legal field with an artist and in the legal field, right? So that's an unusual path to choose.
In real estate, no less.
And somehow you got yourself from, you know, loving art and being a dancer and, you know, expressive. And, you know, I also understand that you're also a certified yoga teacher.
Yeah.
So there's that. I mean, there's a lot of stuff in there. I mean, okay, let's list them off. So, dancer, yoga teacher, what else?
Well, I mean, those I'd say are the things that are kind of more hobby and professionalisms, right? But I mean, I have other interests. Like I like to hike. I like to travel. I garden. I exercise every day. So I'm kind of always trying to do things that fill my soul. So whatever that is, and it can ebb and flow and it can change. But I'm always trying to just honor those things. And one of the reasons why I wanted to start my own law practice was to be able to give myself that opportunity to continue cultivating that. And then also when I have employees, which I finally do have, that I can give them those opportunities and empower them to connect with themselves in that way and make space for themselves as well.
That's amazing.
Because
That's very generous, by the way, because, you know, there's plenty of lawyers and people in the legal field where, you know, it's always the grind. I have, you know, a couple of my girlfriends have corporate lawyer husbands, and all they do is work, and there just is not, there's no room for anything else.
Yeah.
It can be all consuming.
It can.
Watching Ashley from the beginning, when I first saw her to where she is now, yes, the grind is very, very, very deep. Because at one point, I was like, Ashley, how do you do it? And she's like, I don't know, I'm just doing it. And then now she has a team, and it's kind of cool to watch how the team is being responsive to Ashley because of what she's done so much. And she's pretty much laid down the groundwork of what needs to be done. And now having systems in place, it really makes everything easy. Because I watched what she was going through in the beginning. I was like, oh my God, like all the phone calls are going right to Ashley. I was like, this is crazy.
Yeah.
But kudos to you. So
Thank you.
You definitely deserve that, because that's a lot of work. No one knows the hidden gems behind it, like the sleepless nights and yada yada, and then the financial risks that you're taking, because you have to draw your business, but then you have to retain your business at the same time. That's a challenge at that time. So kudos to you on doing that.
I mean, going back to exactly what we were saying is, you know, you don't think of it as, you know, you're an artist. There's an artist soul in you. Your tattoos that are so beautiful on your arm.
Thank you.
There's an artistic bent to it. There's some thoughtfulness to it. There's a lot of thoughtfulness in the art that you do. You know, dancers are thoughtful because it's a specific, very. It's every time, you know, every dancer that you see, there's, you know, even when it's free expression, there's still like a lot of practice and a lot of intention, and that kind of leads you into being a lawyer, and it's just an interesting path.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it's really interesting, and I feel like I continue my dance practice because it helps me tap in to myself and to find like authenticity, and it helps me connect to kind of where I get pulled from, like what pulls me in what direction, and being able to take that and to kind of create space for clients to feel like they can be authentic and ask them very inquisitive questions to get them to explain like why they might be frustrated about something or why they're like wanting something right now. Because in real estate, like you can kind of you can provide people like what they're asking for, but sometimes they don't even know like why they want it. And at my firm, we try to dive deeper into like what is this, where is this request coming from, or where is this reaction coming from, so that we can help you really figure out if it's like just an emotional response, or if this is really going to lead you towards your ultimate goal of, you know, maybe preserving your bottom line, or
whatever the goal is.
Yeah, whatever the goal is, like, are you really getting there? And so we'll spend a lot of time with clients, like, kind of peeling back layers, right, and asking very like deep questions. And the more that I practice on myself, and the more that I encourage my team to take time to do that, the better we are.
It's very holistic.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Now to the fun part.
The fun part.
That's an interesting. That's actually a really interesting journey. And what's interesting about that, in particular, is that everybody that we talk to, you know, there's always a thoughtfulness behind what they do.
Absolutely.
And I think that the most successful realtors, even, or loan officers, or insurance agent like myself, or a lawyer, or a title agent, like if you have to be thoughtful in what you're doing. It cannot just be churn and burn. And like there's a reason why, you know, it's not for everybody to just call up and get what you want, or, you know, there are lawyers you can just call on the phone and just get stuff done. But I think because the process is so fraught with emotion, you kind of have to reflect that back and be able to capture what it is that somebody wants and be able to focus so that the entire experience is more pleasant.
Yeah.
Rather than just being a drive-through McDonald's or, you know, fast food. Think of it like in food terms, right?
Right, because anyone can use anyone. It's just, how do you feel comfortable with that person at that time?
Yeah.
With a special purchase, again, it's a commodity, right? It's not something you can just turn and burn tomorrow, right? It's a prize. It's something you work so hard
It's
for.
your asset, it's your biggest asset, for sure.
Right, and so you want to make sure you capture every moment, and you want to enjoy that experience.
Yeah.
So I definitely understand
The other thing,
positions.
the other thing that I found interesting about Ashley on a personal level is, you know, you did mention travel, and where's your next big trip?
To Turkey.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And how long are you gonna be there?
3 weeks.
Nice. What's your goal? What's the one thing you want to do in Turkey?
Honestly, I am going to enjoy being 9 hours ahead of everybody else.
Oh my gosh.
That's honestly gonna be the best part.
Looking like truly Ashley. Well, what's really
Yes.
good about that is that you're probably going to have to keep up with your social media presence.
Yep.
You have a very big social media presence. How many followers do you have on Instagram?
I mean, I wish it was more, but I'm at like almost 1,800 right now. So
Amazing.
Wait.
working on that.
What's your Instagram handle so people can know about it?
At Real Estate Law NJ.
Nice. And you do all of your own. You do
Yes.
like all of your own concepts and everything.
Yes. So my goal this weekend before I leave is to create a bunch of content so that I don't have to create a lot of it when I'm away. So I'm gonna time block creating it before I go.
That's a struggle. I think that's a really big struggle for a lot of us. I'm speaking for myself because I never have enough time. Like, how do you find the time? Like, what's the secret? Give me a secret that I can use and put it in the back of my head and be like, this is what Ashley does. She's always on social media. She does her marketing really well. She does it by herself. Like, what am I doing? What should I do?
Well, you should between the videos and do something fun,
Right.
because my whole goal is to take concepts in real estate transactions and make them relatable and like fun, because there are certain things like getting funding approval,
Right.
you know, on the day of closing that can
Right.
just really be like gut wrenching to the transaction process. But making a
Wire
reel about
confirm
it.
and everything like that.
Yeah.
You can get it.
As industry professionals, we can all relate to it.
Right.
So that's something that I would suggest that you do is
Time block.
I think
Time block.
yeah, time block, but when you're time blocking, if you think of the subject matters of what you do and create like categories, right? Like onboarding a client, finding policies, right? Or the terms of the policies, and then break it into even subsections. You'll start to think of content ideas for each subsection. You can
Interesting.
eventually create a huge list of like content for yourself, and then you can just
That's the way I go about it.
Yeah.
Because when they go into, like, if there's a hiccup going on through the file, without going into the person's profile, I'll speak to it in a generality term. Keep in mind, in social media, all we need is 30 to 60 seconds
Yeah.
of a snippet, right?
Right.
You capture that, and that's your value. And so now when that person's looking at you, they can say, oh yeah, this happened to me or my friend or family. Maybe you should call this person to find out more about this so we don't have to go through these challenges again. So like Ashley said, when you're going through preparation with your clients, that's how I get my videos up and
Yeah.
running.
What
We're
do you-
going through certain things. I'm sending my clients quick updates with their videos
Right.
and so on and so forth. But when there's some things happening in the file itself, I'm using, and I'm bringing fun to it, because you shouldn't be annoyed going through a mortgage process.
Right.
So we're just saying, hey, by the way, when you go through this, remember you got to do this, right? So we can make sure. I did a video this morning, right? 30 seconds. We don't need 2 minutes of a library of da 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 da. They're gonna get bored. They're tied out. We have other channels for that. So it just makes it a smoother transaction. It makes smoother process of the transaction.
I'd say that's the biggest thing I'm struggling with, is keeping the time down.
Yeah.
And your next guest, who's sitting over there, is like the queen of 60 second
Is
updates.
60 seconds up there, right?
Yep. Can definitely take inspiration from both of you for being able to truncate the information to even shorter sound bites. And it's important, especially in the market right now, as industry professionals. The people who are going into this market need us to guide them and educate them and make them feel confident that they're going to be okay, and that it's just a shift, right? And that it's important that there are these like professionals who are not kind of like making it seem like this is the end of the world, that everything's going to be okay. And I think it's great that you're putting that content out there, because
it's fun.
You're like a calming force.
It's
nice.
It's just, and it's fun, because you're like, oh, I didn't know this. Oh, well, you know what? We all know now, right? It's almost like
share.
You share. That's it, right?
What's nice about what you just said is the it also fits your personality, right? So you're trying to be a calming influence and a calming force behind the transaction at any given time for all of your transactions, which I think is so nice. That goes back to the hiking and the in the dancing and all of the things that kind of make up and brought you to this space, right?
Yeah.
The other thing I found interesting about you is that you've been a vegan for years.
Yes. Yeah, 4 years now.
So before we wrap this up, I always ask, because I always love a good restaurant recommendation. In my past world as being a travel and food writer,
yes,
I loved hearing about where people were eating. So give us a one or two. Give us your favorite place to have vegan food.
Sure. So New Jersey is definitely behind in their vegan restaurant options. So I have only very limited choices to choose from, but I found this amazing Thai place in Piscataway, no less. It's called Thai Basil Vegan, and everything that's cooked is cooked by like a Thai mom from Taiwan. And I
What's the
leave
name
there
again?
Thai Basil.
Thai basil. Okay.
Yeah, vegan.
Thai basil vegan.
Yes.
Okay.
And they actually were not vegan, but they just became vegan about a year ago.
Okay.
And they're, every time my fiance and I, we go eat there all the time. When we leave, we feel like good. When you actually leave, you feel like you ate food that was actually nourishing and nutritious.
Let me ask you a question. When they went vegan, did they give you was an email sent to you? Was it like a special club or a Facebook profile, a community forum?
Now we're vegan,
right?
Now we're vegan. Let me call Ashley. Come on down.
Come on in. But I think it's funny because I have there's this app for vegan food options. And
what's it called?
Happy Cow.
Happy Cow. We have to look this
Happy
up.
Cow.
Yeah,
Okay.
Happy Cow. It's a great app.
Okay.
And so
We're putting this on
know.
the show so that people can know, because I've never heard of this app.
Yeah, it's great. It'll give you restaurants that have vegan options, but then also restaurants that are like vegan only, so you can kind of choose your filter.
Okay.
But what's cool is I'll go on there every now and again, and all of a sudden a new one popped up, and I was like, a new vegan restaurant in New Jersey. So I clicked it, and they when we went there, we were like, we've never heard of you guys. How is this possible? And they said probably because they weren't vegan and they had converted over. So that was a great find. Now we're very happy.
I love that. Now we're all going. Everybody, we're
so.
trying to see a vegan restaurant.
Yeah.
And then the other thing that you and I got to talking about that I want to mention, because I loved hearing about it, is your favorite hiking spot.
Yeah, there's this trail up in Cold Spring, New York. It's called Breakneck Ridge, so sounds scary.
It does sound scary. Breakneck Ridge. Although it sounds also like an 80s rock song. Love ballad. Rock love ballad.
Yes.
Breakneck Ridge. They fell in love in the back of a car or something. I don't know.
Who knows? You're a songwriter. Look at you.
Yeah, sure. You find out.
Yes. But it's a really cool trail. You can kind of choose if you want a long hike or a short hike, and it's up in the I guess I forget the valley that they call it out there, but it's right by the Hudson River, so the views are
Sounds
really nice.
beautiful.
Yeah, and it's good workout.
Love it.
Yeah.
And how often do you go hiking?
Honestly, this year I haven't gone too much because it's been like so hot. So I'm looking forward to the fall weather
Yeah.
to go more often.
After Turkey.
Yeah, after
I love
Turkey.
Our good friend Ashley, Paula from Remax, they have a lot in common.
Oh.
She goes hiking a lot.
She goes
right?
hiking a lot, and
Yeah.
you know she
Yeah,
eats healthy.
Ashley Pollard. Oh, you
and then
should
she
meet
does.
Ashley.
No,
Yeah.
they've met.
Have you
couple
met Ashley Pollard?
Only on social media.
Only on social media. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. They have a lot in common, right? And also because yoga,
She's
hiking.
also
She's
a
into
yogi.
Ashley is all into.
Oh, you guys have to meet.
Yeah, you said that's gonna happen.
Yes.
I'm gonna make that happen.
You guys are so awesome.
Yeah.
Making connections.
Yeah, have to
Put it
definitely.
together.
It only makes
Thank
sense.
Well, thank you, Ashley. It's been super nice talking to you.
You too.
Thank you.
Namaste.
That was-